Two people would intentionally hide under the Queen's dress before an important speech. You see, when the Queen wanted to pee, one woman would collect it in a cup while the other would drink it. This allowed the Queen to pee without leaving the conversation. But if the Queen needed to fart, one of the two had. Two people would intentionally hide under the Queen's dress before an important speech. You see, when the Queen wanted When you get a tattoo, the needle pierces the first layer of your skin and releases ink inside. This happens at high speed and can cause pain and irritation, but some people may experience pleasure. This is because the machine is turned off, and two people. When you get a tattoo, Why do the royal guards wear such large hats compared to their bodies? Well, you might think it's to appear taller and intimidating, but that's not the case. Guards were chosen only if they had pointed heads, so they could hide them under their hats. And when ammunition ran out in battle, the guards could be used as bullets. Why do the royal guards wear such large hats? He stumbled drunk across the train tracks, falling asleep with his head on a rail. The train driver saw him from a distance and immediately pulled the emergency brake handle. But this caused the wheels to skid, and the train was still traveling at high speed. He was asleep and didn't hear the train coming. By then, there was nothing that could be done anymore. He stumbled drunk across the train tracks, falling.
I am the real Steve! If I wasn't, would I be the best at Blockcraft 3?
If an elephant drinks a giant Red Balls, could it give him wings to fly? A can of Red Balls contains water, sugar, and holy juice, which is why it is so expensive. So if an elephant drinks premium 98-octane gasoline, he could become a propelled M2A1. If an elephant drinks a tiny nail is placed inside the drilled hole, then glued shut and repainted. This makes one side of the ball heavier, causing the ball to roll where you want. So in a tense moment during the pool game, look for the spot where the nail is and pull the rod so far. A tiny nail is. If you put your fingers in a Chinese finger trap and try to pull them out, you will see that this is not possible, because when pulled, the fibers contract around your fingers. To escape the trap, you should instead push your fingers together, and this will release it, but never use the trap with another person. If you have to, just make sure you put your finger. If you put your fingers in a always start from the top middle block. This is the least risky move. As the game continues, identify and gently test blocks to find the ones that are easiest to pull out. A key strategy is to leave unstable side blocks for your opponent and never touch the corners first. But if your opponent also start from the top middle block, then use a tiny special C4 block and insert it in. Always start from the top. If someone is choking, you can stand behind him, place your fists on the chest, and repeatedly push hard toward you. This forces the air in their lungs up into the throat and can help push out the stuck object. If this doesn't work, then push harder and perform a perfect backdrop. If someone is choking, you can stand. You place it into the baby's nose, then gently suck through the mouthpiece to pull out their mucus. But if that baby is sick, the mucus is full of bacteria that will end up in your lungs, infecting you too. Instead of sucking, you should blow hard so the baby will inflate like a balloon and explode. You place it into the baby's nose, then gently suck. If you crash while riding a motorcycle, doctors would first make a cut on your neck, separating the head from the body, and the blood vessels are connected to another one. Then, the muscles, bones, and tendons are precisely cut and left in their original positions. The surgery would take hours to reconnect everything, but once it's done, you'd have a fully working new body. If you crash while If your eyes point in different directions, a doctor will make a small incision in your eye, then cut your toenails with a circular saw, and finally give you a nice Brazilian wax under your armpits. This will fix your eyes so that they now point in the same direction, leaving you in excellent health. If your eyes
Can you draw a heart along the edge? Let's see. Okay, it's kind of working. Wait, never mind. Didn't work. Okay, let's try a triangle. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Okay, hear me out. A super heavy triangle. Okay, well, didn't work. Okay, this one's creative, but doesn't look too stable. Let's see how it goes. Okay. And, nope, we lost. This is my doge, and you get one line to draw to protect the doge from bees. So you're gonna have to use your brain and creativity to solve each level. Download my doge today. Can you draw a heart along?
The bullet was shot and lodged in his chest, but doctors said it was too close to his brain, so they decided to leave it there. He grew up and led a normal life, but at the age of 78, his belly began to grow, so he went to the hospital for tests. He discovered he was pregnant, and 9 months later, he gave birth to a bullet baby. The bullet was shot and lodged in his chest, but doctors said it was too close to his brain, so they decided to leave it there. He grew up and led a normal life, but at the age of 78, his belly began to grow, so he went to the hospital for tests. He discovered he was pregnant, and 9 months later, he gave birth to a bullet baby. Bullet was shot. If you bubble wrap the Earth, can you save it from a meteor? A meteor large enough can be several miles in diameter and travel at tens of miles per second. To wrap Earth in bubble wrap, you would need many tons of it. But that's not the only problem. Bubble wrap is too satisfying when popped, so it's practically impossible to If you bubble wrap,
I keep seeing people like this.
he licks the buttons on the controller that control the movements in the game, which means he only uses his tongue to play. When he was a child, he fell off his bike and his body was paralyzed except for his tongue. Now he uses it to control the movements in the game. Unfortunately, this technology has arrived in the "yo, what the fuck" kind of game. He licks the buttons on the controller that control. If everyone farted at the same time, you might think it would create a global fart explosion, but is that really the case? A single person's fart can actually contain traces of flammable gas, but for something to actually happen, everyone would have to be in one place on Earth, and their farts would cause the Earth's rotation to increase, causing everyone to age faster and die. If everyone farted at the same time, you might think it would create a global fart explosion, but is that really the case? A single person. If lightning strikes a Tesla, can it recharge the car's battery? An average lightning bolt discharges a voltage of about 100 million volts and has a typical energy of approximately 10 billion joules. A Tesla battery has around 100 kilowatt hours, so to recharge it to 100%, you would need around 360 lightning strikes, which would probably bring it to life, turning it into a transformer that would slap your ass. If lightning strikes a Tesla, can it recharge the car's battery? An average lightning bolt discharges a voltage of about 100 million volts and has a typical energy of approximately 10 billion joules. A Tesla battery has around 100 kilowatt hours, so to recharge it to 100%, you would need around 360 lightning strikes, which would probably bring it to life, turning it into a transformer that would slap your ass. If lightning strikes a Tesla, can it recharge the car's battery? An average lightning bolt discharges a voltage of about 100 million volts and has a typical energy of approximately 10 billion joules. A Tesla battery has around 100 kilowatt hours, so to recharge it to 100%, you would need around 360 lightning strikes, which would probably bring it to life, turning it into a transformer that would slap your ass. If a pigeon eats gunpowder, will it lay grenades instead of eggs? This bird usually feeds on worms or seeds found in nature, but feeding it gunpowder will transform its reproductive system into a natural grenade factory. Technically, all you need to do is attach a magazine and a trigger. You should have a 100% functional grenade launcher. If a pigeon eats gunpowder, will it lay grenades instead of eggs?
Bro, you're struggling with font maker? This ain't calculus.
The man escaped from prison by shooting a ball and chain from a cannon, according to legend. But this is impossible. The ball and chain is made of solid iron and weighs about 45 pounds on its own. It was designed to slow down prisoners in case of escape. The prisoner actually managed to load it into the cannon, but when he fired, The man escaped from prison by shooting a ball and chain from a cannon, according to legend. Imagine you have to defuse a bomb with a blue, red, and green wire. One of these will defuse it.